You promised 1.5 million more homes in this parliament, hugely ambitious target, but house building in England has actually fallen in the last 6 months. Are you going to be able to turn this around and actually meet that target, or are you already starting to worry if it might fall by the wayside?
We will meet that target because we can't afford not to. We have 1.3 million people waiting on housing waiting lists. There isn't a person listening to this show that will not know somebody who is desperate to get on the housing ladder. So therefore we're determined to turn that tide, whether it's the money we're putting into the Affordable Homes programme that we've announced, whether it's the changes to national planning policy, which mandatory house targets are now there for local authorities, or the upcoming bill that we're proposing on planning and infrastructure, which will really get building underway. The announcements on education and skills that our education minister announced around apprenticeships, which will unlock thousands more apprenticeships for our young people to go into the construction sector so we can build those homes, and I'm determined to meet that challenge.
The question has certainly not been answered. Are you going to housing a slowdown? Are you going to be able to meet those targets? It's okay you saying we cannot afford not to, but the point is you are already falling behind, and if you're falling behind you will not be able to fulfill your obligations. Secondly, we know that there are people waiting to get on lists. We know that people are hungry for housing. We know people are struggling. We know there is mass poverty. How are you going to ensure that you keep to your deadline? Everything we have going on at the moment, we have mass poverty. We have poverty on steroids. People are struggling. People are not being able to afford houses. People are not able to afford rents. People are on the streets because they cannot afford and therefore are homeless. What are you going to do about this? You've made U-turns on tax. You've made U-turns on council tax. You made U-turns on pensioners' funds. Everything you've said, you've gone U-turn on. What is it that you're not going to U-turn on here? What is it that you're going to do to give us some confidence in you? Because right at this moment, everything you said you were going to do in your manifesto, you've turned it back on its head. When you talked about the £22 billion deficit, which was a lie as it turns out with the new recent report that's come out, everything you're doing is a U-turn. You are going backwards. Vikas Chopra, over and out.